Mastering High-Performing Teams with Kirk Peterson. Weekly insights and expert strategies to help leadership teams become high-performing teams.
Nick Delsano joining you once again with Kirk Peterson, the Managing Director of Performance Shift. Kirk, tonight's episode is a big one. It's about managing conflict of difficult people, and it is one of the biggest challenges in businesses today. Do you have any tips to help us manage these particular people?
This is a topic we can spend weeks on, Dal.
Yes.
I mean, let's call a spade a spade. People are difficult.
Yep.
People are really, really difficult. In fact, I had a full head of hair before I started managing people. So
Let me jump in.
Yeah.
Just to put this in perspective.
Thanks, mate.
You haven't got any hair.
No, I don't. But that's my point. My point is I've lost it all because they're really difficult.
Yep.
Right? So we have to be better, right? Because they are difficult. There's no question. And there's no rule book. There's not like, read Chapter 4 and you're better with people management. There's lots and lots in there. But the first you talked about the conflict in people and difficult people. You know what? I think we've got to lose the branding and the framing around it. And what I mean by that is when you say to me, hey, Kirk, I want you to have a difficult conversation with somebody, I don't want to have that. I don't want to have a difficult conversation. So drop the word difficult. Because if you say to me, Kirk, I want you to have a conversation with someone, I go, I can do that. So we actually heard ourselves about difficult people and difficult conversations. They're just people and their conversations. The second is the perception of conflict. I mean, what's really interesting is what I think is conflict, you may not. So when I speak passionately about something to you and we debate heartily about a topic, somebody listening to that may think there's conflict. And you and I go, mate, do you want to get a coffee on the way out? We're okay. But the perception of conflict is an issue. And then we get the whispers behind, oh, did you hear that Dal and Kirk weren't talking, blah, 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 blah. Well, that's all perception and it creates a storm in a teacup that's not needed. But the key to getting better with your people skills is to understand that people are different. And more importantly, if someone's fast action-orientated person who is results-orientated, the other opposite to them may be somebody who's very kind, very supportive, and wants to care more about the individual with high empathy. Nothing's wrong with either of them. They're just different. Let me give you a different aspect. Somebody who likes an upbeat environment, really high energy, upbeat, blah, blah, versus a person who's, let's say, more analytical, more detailed, and more process-driven and not upbeat. They're not people-driven. So you've got people that are task, you've got some people that are people-driven. That's not bad. That's just different. And that's embracing cognitive diversity rather than trying to create clones of each other that we all love each other, we all think the same, but there's no great outcomes about this.
There's no hiding the fact that as a colleague, as a leader, as a manager, we are drawn to like-minded people.
Correct.
How do you manage your time to make sure that you give equal time and attention and effort and feedback to those that you may initially find as a bit more difficult compared to those that you find easy to get along with?
There was a film called Jerry Maguire.
Great movie.
That said, you complete me. And that in business is what we need. We don't need clones of each other, Dal. We need to find people that are actually opposite each other so that therefore you can complete our thinking. You might be really detailed and I might be big picture, but we need each other. And that mindset versus absolutely labeling people and saying, I don't like you. I don't like working with you. That's the devil. In fact, the very people you need are the people that are completely opposite you.
I like that. Share a quote with us, please.
So it's more of a statement, I think, than a quote, and that's, are people really difficult or are they just different to you? And I want you to embrace the differences in people, which is fundamentally cognitive diversity.
I like the sound of that. What can we look forward to next week?
Well, what we're going to do is look at this hybrid world that everyone's talked about, everyone's talking about, and how do we make sure we create a high-performing environment embracing that?
I look forward to next week. As I always say, Kirk Peterson, show me the money.
Thanks, mate. Visit performanceshift.com.au and as a first step, take our free mini-team assessment to begin unlocking your team's potential. Shift your mindset, shift your performance.